welcome to the show, the founder and CEO of Proxy and Pace and Nip to the Love and Reality podcast. Roxanne, my fellow Ricky, how are you today?
I'm happy to be back with you. If there was anyone I'd be back with since the show came out back in August, it'd be with you, Ricky. Ricky to Ricky. Glad to be back.
Exactly. The Ricky Squared are back. It's exciting because we talked on a whole different level, on a whole different scale of things many
Yeah.
months ago, and it's crazy to kind of come full circle and have this chat now, right?
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's been a year. We're almost hitting the year mark, which is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy because I right before I came on here, I was like, man, because I have a question later on. I was like, how many months has it been? And I looked, I was like, oh, it's really been 9 months. I was like, I don't know where 9 months went since the last time we
I
talked,
don't
but
either. It's flown by, and I mean, you know this. You're always talking to people in this reality world. The months after a show airs are the most insane months ever. So it's just been crazy.
for sure. And obviously, most of the people that will watch this will remember you on your time on Netflix's The Ultimatum. Let's start there for a minute. How has life been post show?
Post show, life has been better. I mean, I already feel like my life was very good, except obviously in the love arena. I was not pro love at all. So, it was good there. But since the show has been even better, I mean, I never thought I'd be in a 100% committed relationship. And here I am doing the wedding thing slowly and not responding as fast as I should or not sending invites out as fast, but I'm doing it. So it's been really good. It changed me and Antonio completely.
During your time on the show, one of the most impressive things about this was you're a boss. You know what I mean? Like you literally are a boss, figuratively, and just how you carry yourself. Obviously, you started with the CEO of Pace It Nip. I've seen you kind of all over the place promoting and working on this. How are things on that front?
On Pace and Nip, oh, amazing. I mean, I started that company with one of my best friends in 2020. And, they say startups usually don't even see growth until about year five. That's just typical. And it seems like a lifetime when you're starting a business to hit a 5 year mark. And, I'm 3.5 years technically when we started selling for Pace and Nip. And couldn't be more blessed. The business is thriving. Women want to go braless more and more. And we are just creating this kind of like what I'm doing with Proxy, this community of people that just want to be accepted and feel like bad bitches and just not be judged. So it's Pace and Nip's doing very well.
All right, now let's talk about this new project, Proxy. I love,
Yeah,
love, 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 love the idea of you tackling the world of mental health because even though it's taken like far more seriously than it was, it's still something that's not taken seriously enough. Tell
agree.
us about the project and maybe what made you want to jumpstart it.
Totally. So when the show aired, you know how this goes. I gained a following and it was cool. I liked it. And I was like, what do I do with this following? I'm not a full-time influencer and I'm not, going to be able to do all these like fashion things constantly. I love it. That's fun. But what I noticed is anytime I talked about my panic disorder on my stories, I would get a huge response from people. I mean, I get responses about my fashion and stuff a lot, but I something connected and clicked with me more. Like I was responding a lot more to people who would reach out saying like I've been there. I have panic disorder because I feel like anxiety is being talked about a lot more, but there's still not a lot about panic disorder. And that's what I've had. I've had it for, since 2017, like major panic disorder. So, and no one would ever know, right? No one ever would think like Roxanne, a woman who owns a business and does this and that, has major panic because it there's a stigma that it sets you back and you can't be successful in all these things. So when that started happening and I was talking to all these people in my DMs about panic. It started with panic. I was like, you know what? I was like, damn man, like I wish I could make something kind of like Pasted Nip where it's this branding that takes us away from the stigma of what it is, right? Like the mental health, there's so much stigma around it. Like you're weak or you're a loser, whatever it may be, because you're struggling. And I wanted to take that away with the branding And then I wanted to create something that was not CBD and THC, because there's a lot of people I talk to that don't want to do that because it actually makes their anxiety worse. And that's kind of where it started. It was more of like a passion, like, shit, I want to do this. One, I need it, so I'm going to eat it. And then just get it out there for all these people who are secretly suffering, truly secretly suffering.
Take us behind the process of creating it, right? You know what I mean? How hands-on were you with
Yeah.
it? How
Oh
important
my
was it
God.
for you to be involved in that?
Totally hands on. So I've had the same team I've hired for Pasted Nip. They do all my marketing. They're an amazing team. The company's called Phenomenal, women owned, same kind of vibe. And as soon as I had this idea, literally I woke up kind of like Pace a Nip, and I was like, I have to email. Her name is Suzanne from Phenomenal. I was like, I got to email her. It's like, I have an idea, and she's the girl that's going to help me make it come to life. And in my head, the first thing I wanted to do, and really the only SKU I had in my mind, was for panic. So for me, when I was having panic attacks, like I've been prescribed Xanax, right? And I hate taking it. I've been very reluctant to medicine for my whole life. So when I was having panic attacks, I was always eating something super sour, like warheads. I don't know if you tried that before. Have you tried it? I don't know if you have
Oh, I
pigs or
haven't.
this is
No,
June.
I
My
didn't. No,
bad.
that's actually an interesting, but no, it's a definitely interesting approach to it, kind of tackling it in a different way.
Totally. Well, it's just about distracting your mind, right? Because when you're panicking, you're just set on this, like, I'm gonna die. Like, that's how you feel. So I would always eat something sour, and it's my panic attacks were through the night. I'd always wake up with like horrible panic attacks. So I was eating something sour at like 2 a.m. and it was like sugar and nasty. And I was like, you know what, Suzanne, let's make a gummy that is so healthy and so sour for panic attacks. That was it. That was my initial idea, and that's what I went to her with.
All right, so now we'll talk about the flavors, the kinds, and what they do in a second. But one of the things that I noticed when I first see it, when you first look at it, I love the packaging. Because to me,
Thank you.
obviously, like knowing you and having conversations with you, the packaging screams you. It really does. You know what I'm saying?
I love
So,
that.
so like it's vibrant, it's colorful, and take me behind the process and maybe thinking like what made that click.
Oh yeah. So, I worked with Suzanne, and obviously when you're building a business and a brand, you really have to work with someone who knows who you are. So I actually love that you said it screams me, because they came to me with all these different, like, I give them a vision and they come back with like, this is your vision. Let's go through options. And, there were so many different options. It was the very, like, tie dye, more of the hippie, the, natural girl. And I know that is what is out there. And I think, that does sell that look, but that's not me. It's not me. And I was like, that's not what I want to do. I want to be me, but make wellness gummies. Like, we can be vibrant and badass, but be like woo woo too. Truly. So that's kind of where it came from. She's like, all right, well, let's see what we can do here. So Proxy obviously comes from my name, right? Roxy, but with a P in front of it. So Proxy is like a proxy to taking medicine. You do the gummies. And then my favorite part is the X, is that play on the pharmacy X you see in Europe. So, it's all just kind of like badass little parts that made the packaging just kind of different and cool.
Yeah, it again, and I think one of my favorite things about it is seeing the reflection of you in it. You know what I mean? Because obviously it being part of your baby and stuff like that. But I looking at the different kinds that you have. You have the panic mode, the panic sour. I think they kind of go hand in hand, right? Take us behind what those are for and do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So panic mode. So it kind of just all evolved, right? And that's what happens when you build a business. So first and foremost was the sour. I was like, I want to make the sour one because I want to eat it, and I want to make something that's so tart but healthy. So we started there, right? And when we were doing these focus groups through it, um, not everyone likes sour, at all. Like, not everyone's like sour is going to work for me. So what we wanted to do is make two panic gummies for panic attacks, or when you're feeling panicky, one that was that ultra sour, and then one that had all the components and natural ingredients without the sour to give you that calm. And I really didn't know much about kava kava. So that's when we kind of brought kava kava in, which is absolutely incredible. Have you ever tried it? Ricky,
No, I
I gotta
haven't.
send you. I'm gonna send you a whole bundle pack. It's funny. Everyone that's got it is like, I've eaten the whole pack. So kava kava has the same effects as like drinking alcohol, but it's natural. It's a root. It's awesome. And in its purest form, it is the nastiest shit you will ever taste. Truly, it's actually insane. People are going to these kava bars in like Brooklyn and Seattle and drinking pure kava tea. It is disgusting. But that's not my gummy. My gummy's not disgusting. But the point is, it's really, really hard to truly make a natural supplement without the added sugars and all the bullshit, and it still be healthy and have the pure form of kava kava. So that's what we did. I mean, we made the purest form and the best tasting you can get kava gummy, truly, on the market. There is nothing else right now. And they both just help with panic. The ingredients in it just bring you down to that calm state.
Obviously, then you have two other, I don't know, flavors, kinds dropping us with
Yeah.
Just Chill and Grow Lush. Take us,
Yeah.
what are those, and what was that process?
Yeah, so Just Chill was more of a, because with panic attacks, people also have anxiety, or maybe you just have anxiety and you don't have panic attacks. So the Just Chill, I would say, is really just in the name, just to chill. It's for people that don't have panic, but they just want to relax, like just chill. It's a daily. The kava really does give you a very relaxed feeling, where the Just Chill is just kind of like, okay, just like the breather that I need. So the ingredients are a little different. It doesn't have the kava. It has the really well-known lemon balm in it. That's incredible. Just all natural, just a little less high intensity than the panic gummies. And then the other one is another big thing I heard all the time in my DMs was my hair. Everyone thought my hair was like not real, or extensions. And I was trying to constantly tell people what I take every day. I've been taking the same stuff, vitamins. So I was like, you know what? I'll just put everything I take into another gummy. So let's make another SKU.
Yeah, let's talk. And I think that you talk about like the focus groups and stuff like that. What
Mm-hmm.
is, like, obviously I would assume you're very hands-on with that process, but what was like maybe like the early stages of like tasting the gummies and trying to like find that flavor?
Crazy. I mean, it's really intense. And I think one thing that unfortunately people don't do is when they're starting a company, they just go off what they like. And that's such a huge mistake. You have to, focus groups are so crucial. So getting a group of 15 people together and making sure it stays the same. Like it has to be the same 15 people each time to keep the I don't know, algorithm was a fancy word. You think I know? Georgia Tech girl over here. No idea. Um, Consistent. You have to keep it consistent. In the beginning, you start with texture. So I partnered up with my lab. They're in Oregon. They're incredible. They send me a bunch of textures, from something that's harder to softer, smaller, bigger, different like it's just everything. And then finding the exact one that I wanted. And literally it's what I have now. It's a gummy, which is not like all the other supplements, vitamin supplements that are out there. It's much different than that. The square, the shape of it, it looks like candy without being candy, which is cool. So that, right? So that part. And then the next step is flavoring, which is insane. I mean, you go through, not only do you have to pick flavors that people generally like, you have to pick flavors that will work with natural ingredients. You're putting these strong L-theanine that tastes and smells insane, and you're trying to make it taste good with like watermelon. It's so hard to get the percentages right.
Yeah, and then with a gummy, in my opinion, I like these day and age, like you'll get vitamins and pills, and these things are like horse pills. You know what I mean? Like you have to like,
Yeah,
so it's like it's to me, it's like always been gummies are way better to, just to
totally.
digest and just consume than a pill form too. But
Oh
throughout this
yeah.
process, I guess the question to you is as well, and I like to pick the brain on the aspect of the creation process.
Yeah.
How do you make sure how do you not get kind of down in the process of like getting maybe a rejection, or maybe getting oh, well, this didn't go as well as I thought it was going to?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think maybe part of that comes from, I've felt that before. So with Proxy, I'm used to it, and I've altered my mind from my first company to really love rejection. Truly, I always feel like if I'm rejected in business, there's a reason why, and whether it's warranted or not, I love to dissect the rejection because I'm like, well, if it was warranted, thank you for the learning lesson. I'm going to make my business better. And if it's not warranted, then I'm gonna be like, then that path was not meant for me. Because if it was, then I would be on it. You know, if that buyer wanted me or if I was supposed to sell somewhere, then it would, it would have worked out. So it's hard. I'm trying to think of some things that have happened with Proxy. I mean, some of the original things I really wanted didn't happen, and that sucks. You know, there's some flavors that I was set on, like I wanted certain flavors, but you just can't get there with natural supplements. If they're real, Ricky, like they're not fake and they're real, what's in them, it's very hard to make them taste good and get what you want.
What is one of your biggest goals in bringing Proxy to the world?
Oh my God. If I could help one freaking person not pass out from a panic attack, that's it. That's literally it. I have passed out and gone to the hospital so many times for panic attacks. If I can help one person feel like they have something they can reach that will give them a calm and not have to call 911 because their heart beating so fast, that's what I want to bring. That's it. It's horrible.
I love
It's
that.
horrible. Not me tearing up. I mean, it's horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
you said yourself, it's the mental health journey is so tough. And I just feel like I'm tired of being on medicine, and I know other people are too. They want to live their lives not being medicated. And I hope that this can bring something that gets people off medicine eventually, in a healthy, good way where it's more natural.
I think that's one of the things that and with this, like you've seen a change in the dynamic of the world, right? You know what I mean? Natural medicines were something that was a long time ago. People don't realize, now we have all of these pharmaceutical pills and different things, and sometimes we don't know what we're taking when we're really taking it, and some people that don't want
Totally.
to take things because we do see family members, relatives die because they're taking addiction and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
changing the narrative in the world of mental health is very important because it's always been here, take this, it'll calm you down, or hey,
totally.
it doesn't work, right?
I love that is such a good way to say it, Ricky, like changing the narrative because society, I think in general, they have almost made us realize, or pharmaceutical companies, that, that's the only thing that will work. And it is
Yep.
so hard for us to wrap our minds around, like, if we can just think of these like a proxy as a medicine, it does work the same. You just have to give it a chance. Like it does work. It's scary. People are like, no way is a plant going to do that. That's not going to help me, because that's the narrative, that we have to take the pills. We don't have to take the pills. And I'm not saying, I mean, I've been on everything. I've tried Prozac, Zola, all of it, for years. And that's why I want off. I don't want to be there anymore.
To me, it's impressive to watch you move in this space just because I love the confidence. I know it's not always there, and I know there's things, behind the walls that we never see on people, but to me, one of the biggest things I love about you is obviously being a woman in a space of being a CEO, a founder. As I have a daughter, you know what I mean? I love seeing stuff like that. What advice do you give to little girls and even the women who want to enter maybe this entrepreneurial world?
My biggest advice is never, it sounds cliche, but if you have a dream, don't let anyone, especially today with social media, sway your decision. Literally stay focused. My biggest advice to anyone who's like, I want to start a business, I say, put on your blinders, stay in your lane, do what you want. Do not listen. If someone thinks your business is going to fail, say, okay, we'll see. That's it. That's not going to work. Okay, well, I'm going to try it. We'll see. That's step one. You got to have that grit. Like, I'm going to do it no matter what. How as stupid as someone might think it is, I'm going to do it. That's all that matters.
It is, and it's hard because as you are an entrepreneur, there's been many no's in your life, and being here, having this conversation, not just launching one business, but now launching a second business where you're kind of hands on. It's something that I feel like it's a conversation that you should continue to have, and you uplift people, and they see you move and make these moves. It's impressive. So of course, before we go, I have to ask, about Mr. Antonio. What's life been post show with him?
Life's been good. Life's been good. I will never, as everyone knows that I watch the Ultimatum. I don't sugarcoat. It's hard. We have a wedding coming up. It's scary. Everyone's like, she should be, if you're engaged, you should be wearing a ring all the time and so happy. I am very happy. That does not mean that I'm still not terrified. Like the wedding's coming up and it's scary. It's scary and it's happening, but we're doing it and we're happier than ever. He has his business he started after the show, which is unbelievable, right? That was like what we wanted out of the show, for him to get his shit together, and he's doing it all. He really is.
Yeah, and I think one of the more fascinating, it's not my favorite because obviously you're dealing with it. I'm not. It's just not me. I know it's weird
That's
to say.
okay.
But one of my favorite things to watch is the people that like stumble. How do you deal with the people that just stumble across your show so late in the process and like, oh my God, I hate you, Roxanne. You're the worst. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Six
God.
months, 7 months
All the
after
time.
the process.
Yeah, because especially when new shows come out, then Netflix will be like suggested for you. So people are constantly watching it because there's suggested lists that come up. So it always happens. Like I just got one, I think 2 days ago. A girl was like, not you nodding and sighing when a guy's proposing to you. And I'm like, I mean, yes, I'm still getting those constantly. I'm like, yes, nodding and sighing. I was nervous. I didn't know if I wanted to get married. And I think I'm shocked, Ricky, mainly from the fact that I just thought everything was more progressive when it came to marriage and whatnot. So the hate behind me not wanting to get married was wild. Wild.
Yeah, it's crazy because sometimes I'll see you share a story or something like that. I'm like, man, I always forget that though. But it's the same thing because like when like there's a new version of the Ultimatum coming out at the end of this year, so it's like, all right, well, let me go back and binge
Yeah.
the first season or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh God, here we go again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I know. And Tony will not watch it ever again. He's like, I will never watch it. And I'm like, oh, come on, babe. It made us like who we are.
Exactly, exactly. Now, obviously, we talked about this early on. We're coming up on 1 year since the show aired on Netflix. Looking back from then to now, what's something you took away from that experience that's helped you on your everyday life?
Be open to change. I was super set in my ways, very type A, very like I'm gonna do everything the way I want to do it. Um, I would say, yeah, just open to change. That's what the show did to me. A year later, I can't believe how open I've been to different things. The show helped me get there for sure.
All right, Proxy, where can people find it? Socials, give everybody the information. On top of that, before she says that, I will put everything in the podcast comments so that you can find that stuff as well, along with sharing it myself on social media. Where can people find you?
All right. So proxywellness.com for all your gummies. The gummy drop is live. It's there. They're delish. Feel Proxy on socials. And then I don't know when you're putting this out, but
Oh, yeah.
when do you think?
Next
Because I was
week?
going to announce. Okay. So June 21st, Friday, June 21st, we're actually hard launching. We're doing this incredible wellness event in New York. Shopify has asked Proxy to come in to their store in Soho. And when I say it is a wellness day of your dreams, I'm not kidding. We have brought in the best locals you can find in the wellness space in New York. We're doing flow in the morning, wellness talks, mocktail classes, just everything you can think of. It's happening that day. So if you're in New York, go online on the website, on my IG, RSVP. I think we're over capacity, but there's a wait list. So, but y'all can come in. You can come in for just to shop.